All right. The White House is passing along that the president has chatted with the Chinese premier, Xi Jinping, probably to find a little bit more about that powwow that the Chinese leader had with Kim Jong-un. It was the second one. Those two leaders have had it as many months. It was in the city of Dalian. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. That's in northeast China. So you'd have to take more than a train to get there. So that's assuming the North Korean leader flew, and he has an aversion to planes. So I don't know whether the Chinese sent a plane or whatever, but bottom line, they did chat, sort of like probably a pep talk ahead of the meetings that are planned for a few weeks from now, we think a few weeks from now, with the President of the United States. Let's get the read on all of this from a guy who was very much involved with negotiating with the North Koreans during the Clinton administration, our former UN ambassador, and so much more. New Mexico former Governor Bill Richardson as well. Good to have you back, Ambassador. What do you make of that? A second time in as many months, the Chinese leader entertaining the North Korean leader. What do you think was going on?
Well, the North Korean is saying to the Chinese, look, I'm meeting with President Trump. I'm cooling things down, maybe talk about denuclearization. So please take some of the sanctions off. Loosen them up, because they have been biting the North Koreans. And then the Chinese leader, who feels that China's been left out of the summit with South Korea and North Korea, and the president is saying, hey, you know, we're big players here. The post-agreement, if you have one with President Trump, we have to be a part of it. 80% of your commerce goes through our country, North Korea. So they've had a rocky relationship the last 2 years, because the North Korean leader has been mad that the sanctions that have been put on by the UN on coal, on oil, that the only ones that can violate the sanctions are China, because of the border trade that's been a lot of violations. And for the first time, I think the Chinese have been pretty much enacting those sanctions pretty forcefully. So it's a, you know, kind of let's get back together. We've had a rocky relationship kind of meeting.
It kind of reminded me of a Sopranos episode, though, Ambassador. There's, you know, Xi Jinping meeting with used to be his protege, and then now all of a sudden, I'm getting a sense he's alarmed or wondering if he's going to stay loyal, or am I misreading that?
No, I think you're right, Neil. I think the Chinese have been the patrons of North Korea. A lot of their, as I said, commerce goes through there. China's defended the North Koreans at the United Nations, many times vetoing really tough sanctions, until the Chinese felt the North Koreans were going too far with their missile tests, because they were provoking two of the big rivals in the region, South Korea and Japan, into developing nuclear weapons, which China doesn't want. They want to dominate the whole area very strongly. So, yeah, I mean, there was a view that, okay, my prodigal son, you're kind of going off on your own. You're going astray. And we want to be part of this, and you can't keep doing this, or we're going to keep the sanctions on. I think that's the gist of the conversation, although, you know, maybe there's another hidden agenda.
Yeah, in that event, then, who plays the role of Marlon Brando? But that's a separate chat, Ambassador. Is it your sense on this Iran deal, the president increasingly sounds like he's going to walk away from it, but not pile onto it? By that I mean slowly retreat, but not add sanctions or any of that. Now, that's the way markets are reading, and that can be very, very wrong, as you know, and you've reminded me in the past, sometimes developments don't pan out the way they're anticipated. But if that were the case, it would fly in the face of what the Europeans wanted and those who worked to cobble this deal together wanted. Do they break as well with this deal, or do they tell the president, you can go one way, but we're going to still go the way we were going?
Well, you know, the president could, with the sanctions, say the U.S. is going to keep our sanctions. We're going to put our sanctions back, but you Europeans, we're not going to affect you. See, we don't know what the announcement is. Yeah. Therefore, the Europeans would have time in a period to maybe say, okay, what we're going to do is fix the deal for you. We're going to put sanctions on Iran's missile activity. We're going to put sanctions on their support for terrorism, what they're doing in Syria. You know, the Iran government, they're not good. And the original Obama deal, I had wished, although I support the nuclear side, that they had done a little more on those side issues that are very important that I mentioned. My worry, Neil, is that the North Koreans are going to say, well, you know, here's a president 4 years later, or 2 years later, going away from an agreement he made from President Obama. It's a nuclear deal. We want a nuclear deal with the U.S. You know, they may say, well, is the U.S. reliable? That's the worry that I have. But we won't know until we see exactly what the president is going to do.
Then again, it wasn't a treaty, so it's not as if we're walking away from anything that was a traditional sort of an agreement between countries, right?
No, but the reality, Neil, is the Iranians, according to international inspectors, have complied with this deal for 28 months that the deal has been in effect. The problem is other issues, they've gotten worse, like on the issue with helping Hezbollah and Hamas and helping Syria and the murderous regime there.
All right. Ambassador, it's always a pleasure. Thank you very, very much. Be well.
Thank you.